bottom line of the universe is that if you don't resist, you're going to get crushed. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what sex you are. It doesn't matter what animal you are, what plant. The universe is violence. When you see a big, tall, beautiful tree, everyone sits under the shade and says, wow, this tree's so beautiful. But I don't see that. I don't see a big, tall, beautiful tree. I see a fighter who killed every fucking tree around it and destroyed every sapling, and its roots went so deep that no other tree could get water, and that's why it's the only tree there, because it killed every other nigger. That's a real tree. He's a real G, top T. Right? So that's violence. That's the world. If you're not prepared to fight, you're going to be crushed. If white people are going to continue to let their women walk around praying for more migration and praying to not balance the budget, then white people are going to go extinct. And then I can go down the rabbit hole of, you get what you deserve in this world. You know, we talk about this with Islam and Christianity, and this is a sensitive topic, but I get this a lot. And they say, you know, the Christians are being replaced in England and all the Muslims are taking control and the Muslims are praying outside the Christian churches. And I say, yeah, that's completely disrespectful. I disagree with that personally as a Muslim. But if Christians are not going to resist in any way, if you're just going to sit there and bend and roll over, you know, I'm not even saying we're enemies. I'm saying if you have an ideology and you won't defend it, if you're going to allow France during the Olympic ceremony to mock Jesus Christ with transgender, like how long are you going to let yourself be mocked? If you're not going to ever stick up for anything, you're going to be crushed. And this is the situation we're in now because you have all these competing power dynamics. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting how it all plays out into the future, but it actually makes me very sad. The white side of me is quite sad when I see these insane white people begging for white human decimation. Like white girls are hot. We need them. And this is bullshit. Like, but they just desperate to go extinct for some reason. I don't know why.
A lot of people call that white guilt.
That is so gay. That is so gay. Like white guilt. But again, once again, it's the largest psyop in history. They pretend only white people had slaves. Do you know who had slaves? Africans. You know who still has slaves? Africans. Like, you know who had slaves? The Arabs had slaves. Everyone had slaves. In fact, the only people to ever abolish slavery ever were white people. Every other nation just let it carry on. Do you think the white people went to Africa and then in their cotton coats with their muskets chased down the forest and put them on a boat?
No.
They turned up and they said to the local warlord, what slaves do you have? I'll buy them off you. They were already slaves. And they bought them off them for gunpowder so that the local warlord could go and slave some more.
Bags of sugar and mirrors.
That's right. And then they took the slaves that were already slaves and took them to pick up the lightest product on the planet, cotton. Congratulations.
That's why I denounce that term African American. I don't know.
Yeah,
no,
so
I'm not African.
But the psyop runs so deep. It's so deep on so many levels. But the people in charge don't give a shit, right? The people in charge, let's say you're running for mayor, you're running for governor. Everything we've said in this podcast, nobody who's running for power can say because people are not smart enough to listen or understand it or consider, I don't agree with 100% of it, but maybe there's a point. Or I don't agree with it, but it doesn't offend me. There's none of that because everyone's a f***ing retard. So if you want to run for governor, you have to stand up and say, I'll protect the black community, black people, or blah, 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 just talk and just lie. And then you become governor and you start getting paid and you've lied to get into office. So guess what we're going to continue to do? Lie. And then you make the problem true.